Adam Minter, Junkyard Planet, travels in the billion-dollar trash trade. In the modern world, recycling has become a common practice for most individuals. However, the process of recycling is a complex global industry reliant on a chain of actors who collect, sort, and sell waste materials to each other. In A Junkyard Planet, Travels in the Billion-Dollar Trash Trade, author Adam Minter dives into this fascinating and interconnected network, exploring how the industry has expanded across national borders and adapted to the globalized world. Through his insights, Minter reveals not only the scale of recycling's economic impact but also its sustainability potential and unexpected ties to our consumption habits.
The Global Recycling Network. The recycling industry is a complex global network that relies on a chain of actors to collect, sort, and sell scrap and trash. From individual scavengers to large processing plants, each step increases the volume of materials. This industry has expanded beyond national borders, with waste management taking place within a global logistical network that rivals that of the manufacturing industry. The shift is attributed to the migration of manufacturing and the advent of cheap transportation options. The US-China trade imbalance also plays a significant role as shipping companies offer discounts to dealers shipping scrap to China on container ships that would have otherwise been empty. The profitability of recycling. Recycling has become a lucrative business due to the profitability it provides. The industry aims to identify and acquire in-demand resources for low or no costs and sell them for a high price. The recycling market started gaining momentum in the mid-1950s when scrapyards realized they could make more profit from recycling old automobiles than selling them. However, when labor costs rose, scrapyards stopped buying old cars, leading to a surge of abandoned vehicles. In recent times, despite individual profits being meager, scrap dealers are still able to earn significant amounts of money due to the increasing waste production. For example, at OmniSource in Indiana, extracting copper from old wires only yields a few cents per pound, but the company processes around 10 million pounds each year. Ultimately, recycling is a form of entrepreneurship that requires little to no overhead costs. This way of doing business and earning has led to the rapid growth of the recycling industry, promoting sustainable development. The profitable and sustainable side of recycling. Contrary to popular belief, recycling not only benefits the planet but also generates profits for companies. The more thorough the recycling practice, the more profitable it tends to be. For instance, Chinese cable recycling factories strip down cables to their individual components to reduce contamination, enabling them to sell the metal at a higher price and the other steel components separately. The use of recycled raw materials in manufacturing is a cheaper option that spares environmental costs involved in mining raw materials directly. Recycled aluminum, for example, requires only 8% of the energy used in producing new aluminum and removes the step of mining for bauxite. By bringing together the best of both worlds, proper recycling practices generate profits for both buyers and sellers of recycled materials while sparing the environment the negative effects of mining. The economics of recycling. Recycling is more efficient in developing countries due to their low cost of labor and the high demand for raw materials in their growing manufacturing industries. The economic value of reusing objects is higher for poorer people who tend to reuse more due to affordability. Consequently, in developed countries, the wealthy tend to recycle objects for local recycling companies instead of reusing them. Labor-intensive recycling processes are usually more comprehensive and cost-effective in developing countries, where workers manually sort recyclables compared to the automated mechanical techniques in the developed countries. In addition, the demand for raw materials ensures that every part of an object is reused in developing countries, unlike in developed countries. China, India, and Thailand are popular destinations for exportation of old computer mainframes and telephones from the US because of their large markets for plastic. The paradox of recycling. Recycling is not a solution to rampant consumption, and it is often associated with higher income and consumption rates. Recycling can even contribute to an increase in consumption, as people use it as an excuse to indulge in unnecessary purchases. While it is essential to recycle, it is equally important to reduce our consumption and waste in the first place. Sustainable recycling. To reduce waste, we should make products simpler to recycle. However, recycling works primarily through refurbishment or individual component sales. Therefore, companies need to design products that are easy to reuse or dismantle. Additionally, the more materials a product contains, the harder it is to recycle. A notebook, for example, is recyclable, but it requires meticulous separation of its various components. A sustainable option is to produce a notebook entirely made of recyclable paper and cardboard. To reduce our consumption, it is essential to have a better understanding of recycling. Global recycling challenges. Recycling presents significant environmental, health, and financial challenges globally, making it hard to achieve the recycling goals set by many countries. Recycling has been touted as the ultimate solution to the world's waste problem, but is it? While developed countries seek to preach the gospel of recycling to developing countries, they struggle to manage their waste effectively. Developed countries also find it increasingly difficult to domestically recycle everything, which may result in millions of tons of materials ending up in landfills. The town of Guizhou, China, serves as a classic example of how recycling can be disastrous. It presents significant environmental and health hazards, thanks to the poisonous fumes and caustic acids emitted by the electronic waste management process the town is known for worldwide. Prohibiting the export of scrap to developing countries is unlikely to improve labor conditions there. Instead, manufacturers in developing nations should be allowed to produce recyclable materials and benefit from them. In a world where Christmas tree lights wires are made in China, U.S. manufacturers should allow Chinese manufacturers to import used lights from the U.S. that would instead have ended up in landfills. In conclusion, achieving the recycling goals set by many countries is a difficult task. We must develop sustainable systems and partnerships to manage waste effectively, keep our environment safe, and promote our health while allowing manufacturers to thrive despite global challenges. The importance of recycling. Recycling has many benefits despite the problems it faces. Mass recycling has led to significant savings in electricity, labor costs, and environmental damage. For instance, in 2012, the U.S. saved over 1.53 billion cubic yards of landfill space. Recycling also saves coal, iron ore, and electricity. The profit-driven nature of the global recycling industry ensures that consumer waste is directed to where it's needed the most, leading to efficient resource reuse. An example is the mass abandonment of cars in the U.S. in the 1960s solved by Thailand's importation of cheap yet reliable scrap metal for buildings. Therefore, despite the safety concerns associated with Chinese plant workers, the act of recycling is crucial for the betterment of our environment.
While recycling may be viewed as strictly an environmentally friendly action, it is driven primarily by the potential for profit. As a billion-dollar industry with intricate connections across the globe, the recycling process operates within a delicate balance of supply and demand. Minter's Junkyard Planet demonstrates that recycling leads to significant savings in resources, energy, and labor costs. As our consumption habits evolve, it is essential for industries and even individual consumers to understand the complexities of recycling and aim for solutions that maximize efficiency, sustainability, and global cooperation.